My name is Cindy Laprade Lattimer, and my partner Ben and I are your chaplains. As we gather to celebrate and begin this new semester, this new life shared together in community, I invite you to pause a moment with me. In the midst of the wild chaos that surrounds us, in the spaces of anxious uncertainty that fill us, in the anticipation and hope that stubbornly continue to rise within our hearts, I invite you to pause, to breathe, to soak in all that this moment holds.
This will be a semester unlike any we have ever known. Whether you are a student or a faculty member or a staff person or an administrator, none of us knows what we will face together in the weeks ahead. And yet, in true Juniata fashion, we will face it together. All of us. We are a community together, all of us, even behind our face masks and our computers, even when appropriately spaced. We are a community together. We are bound in principle, purpose, vision, goals, and determination. We commit to one another, to care for each other, to learn from each other, to protect each other. May you approach these days with hearts and minds wide open, open to those around you, to your own growth, to discovery, both unexpected and carefully orchestrated within the curriculum. May even the difficult, complicated, and uncomfortable moments multiply your patience and compassion, driving each of us toward becoming our best selves. And may the lessons we learn together as a community in this time kindle in us a fire for justice, a deeper awareness of those who are vulnerable, a blazing love for humanity and the world which we all share, and the knowledge that we truly can make a difference for good.
This will be a semester unlike any we have known. May you live fully into it, with good health, with hope, with strength and joy and grace. Amen.
Well, good afternoon, Juniata, and welcome to Juniata's first ever virtual convocation, a day in which we officially begin Juniata's 145th academic year. It's also a day in which we welcome our new Juniata scholars that make up the class of 2024. It is both strange and very disappointing that as most of you are here, and as I look out my window, you are relatively close by, and yet here I am in my office delivering these brief remarks via Zoom. Students, I don't need to tell you, obviously, that this year, the 2021 academic year, is going to be quite uncommon. You are going to experience something very different than virtually any other class in Juniata's history. Between COVID-19, a 21st century social movement that aims to address systemic oppression and racial inequalities, a polarizing, often unconstructive political environment, an upcoming presidential election, and a very different and unique learning environment here at JC. We obviously have a lot on our plate. However, like true Juniatians, I am quite confident that we will collectively embrace the unexpected and learn and grow with and among one another. as we start this new academic year. Students, you will find our community not just willing to support you, they will be challenging you to become your best self. And I promise you there is no greater gift. Having people around you to push you to new heights that you never thought possible and encourage you at moments you most need it. It is what our Juniata community is all about. You will find that and more here at JC over the course of your time with us. As I was thinking about this coming year, I remembered a recent blog post I read about hope. Yes, hope, H-O-P-E. The author was describing that hope is a clear choice, that it is a commitment to envisioning a future in which we wish to participate. The choice to embrace hope isn't always easy, but that decision to say yes to life is all the more important when times are tough, like right now. She goes on to say that hope is fundamental to learning and living, and that it recruits imagination. It tilts us toward action and toward engaging with life, even as we remain uncertain about what will happen next. At times like these, we most certainly need hope. We will need encouragement from one another. We will need patience and goodwill. All the things we are experiencing right now are affecting all of us in different and unique ways. As we begin our time together, my hope is that you treat one another with simple kindness and respect, with compassion and with grace. From Juniata's humble beginnings in 1876, we have always valued cooperation, community, peace, and inclusion, attributes that are foundational to the collegiality we enjoy here as Juniatians. Like a typical family, we will indeed occasionally argue, but at the end of the day, we are here to support one another, lift one another up, and love and respect each other for the diversity we all bring. Like our founders, we must believe there is greater good that will come from our commitment and service to one another and to the place that we now call home. So I wish all of you the very best as you begin your walk through the doors of this great college. Embrace the unexpected. Learn and lead from a place of hope, from a place of compassion and grace. And we will all benefit from these important, positive, and uplifting choices. Welcome aboard, Eagles. It is great to have you with us again. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lauren Bowen. I serve as the provost at Juniata College, and as the senior academic officer, it's my pleasure and my privilege to introduce tonight's faculty speaker to you. Dr. Kristin Camenga is an associate professor of mathematics. She joined the Juniata faculty in 2016 after having served several years on the Houghton College faculty. She earned her bachelor's from St. Olaf College, graduating summa cum laude, and went on to earn a master's and a Ph.D. from Cornell University. She is a visionary teacher, and she brings a spirit of fun and joy to the teaching enterprise. She models that sense of community you just heard President Troha describe. One of my favorite things about Kristin is the joy with which she talks about productive failure. And as students, you may wonder what that means, but she means creating an environment where you can take some chances, you can ask some questions, and she knows from making mistakes, you'll ultimately learn a great deal more. Please join me in welcoming the 2020 recipient of the Henry H. and Joan R. Gibbel Award for Teaching Excellence, Professor Kristin Camenga.
It is my privilege to welcome you to the Juniata community. Whether you are going to be on campus this fall or whether you're joining us remotely, this is a community you chose, and we are so glad that you are a part of our community. But it is no longer you and us. Now it is we are Juniatians. So what does it mean that you are a part of this community? How can you contribute to the Juniata community? And what does all that mean now, in the middle of a global pandemic that's turned our lives upside down, in the midst of a movement for social change to challenge a long legacy of racism and oppression, and in a season of heated debate
in a presidential election in the United States. In this challenging season, I think it is even more important that we work to build a strong Juniata community. I'm not speaking with you about community today because I'm an expert, but because I want to share with you the things that I am learning about community. And I would be delighted to hear from you the things that you have learned and your experiences. What I most want us to embrace today is this: community is not easy. Being a community takes courage. This is always true, but it is especially true now. Consider Juniata's mission: to provide an engaging, personalized educational experience that empowers our students to develop the skills, knowledge, and values that lead to a fulfilling life of service and ethical leadership in a global community. Our goal is to help you lead. We want you to change the world. So what change do you want to see in the world? Do you want to see a world where every person has access to the resources they need to flourish, eliminating inequities of race and social class? Do you want to counteract climate change? Do you want to see a world where we all value each other and seek to eliminate interpersonal violence? Do you want to see a time where the coronavirus pandemic has ended and we can all put away our masks? No matter what change you want to see in the world, you can't do it alone. You need other people to work with you. You need a community. You can start with your own learning and reflection, and then you can build a community. First, some close friends, the Juniata community, and then even bigger. You can start here to change the world. I'm going to share with you 3 actions I think are important for a community to develop and grow with the goal of changing the world. These actions may sound easy in the abstract, but they aren't. It takes courage to be a community. Courage to connect. I heard from a couple of you during orientation how much you were looking forward to meeting new people when you got to college. Relationships are the bedrock of community, and those relationships take time and effort to develop. It takes courage to connect with others. My first week of college, I was looking for a student organization, and I showed up at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I walked in on a dorm meeting of upperclassmen. But one senior who was at the meeting, and part of the group I was looking for, gave me the correct time and place, and not only that, she chose to mentor me throughout that year because she was impressed by the risk I took to try to find the meeting. That was a huge reward for inserting myself where I didn't belong. So where will you try to connect with others? Will you seek out a student organization and commit to it for the first semester, even if the first few meetings are a little disorganized because they've had to switch to Zoom? Will you meet with your advisor and start developing a relationship? I would challenge you, take initiative. Find a place to participate. You are needed. Your gifts are uniquely yours, and Juniata needs you. Now, I want you to think of that same situation from the point of view of my mentor. Would you want to invite an interrupting, clueless student who couldn't even come to the right place at the right time? Would you want to invest time every week and draw that person into your own community? That's a sacrificial choice. It takes time and genuine openness to other people, despite first impressions. So will you introduce yourself to the person next to you in class, even though they're at least 6 feet away and you can't see their full face? Will you seek to include people who come from different perspectives so that your understanding is broadened? Maybe you can connect with someone who has different religious beliefs, or a different skin color, or a different nationality, maybe even a different political party. It takes courage to share yourself, courage to reach outside your comfort zone, to draw others into community, courage to listen when you might disagree. But the relationships we build are connections that tie our community together. Courage to care. While it is great to get to know each other, usually our closest friends are people we've known deeply over a long time, people who have traveled hard roads with us, who have shared our joy and our pain. You could choose to live your life always on the surface, ignoring others' pain and hiding yours, but you'd be missing out. It takes courage to care for others. When you walk down the hall, you can ask everyone, "How are you?" and get the typical "fine" in response. Or you can stop with a few and ask, "How is your day going? You look down. Are you okay?" Maybe you bake some cookies and share them with your friends. Or you send a text to a classmate to say how much you appreciated their help on a project. This year is going to take extra intentionality to connect with others as we practice social distancing. Will you take the time to reach out to someone you haven't seen in a while, since we won't pass each other in our one-way hallways? Will you risk the discomfort of sharing hard times? Will you work to protect others, disrupting situations where others are being hurt? This year, we have the privilege of showing our care for each other by working to protect each other's health. This isn't my favorite fashion statement, but I will choose to wear a mask to protect you. I will put your health above my preferences and my comfort. That's part of being a community. Perhaps even more difficult than looking out for others is letting other people care for you. When you have a bad day or get bad news from home, who will you share it with? When you mastered a difficult idea and want to celebrate, who can you tell? It's hard to be vulnerable, especially in a new community, but I would encourage you to find a few people who you can share your ups and downs with. Let other people show their care for you. Courage to change. As we care for each other, we start to understand each other's perspectives, and our world expands. We see the need to grow and change, to become who we want to be. However, change is not comfortable, and it takes courage. Even good changes can seem overwhelming. I entered college planning to be a high school math teacher. Nearing the end of my first year, a professor took me aside and asked me to consider going to graduate school in math. Now that sounds like a wonderful thing, but I'm a planner, and I had known since I was 5 years old that I was going to be a high school math teacher. So this compliment was just completely unsettling to me. It totally rocked my world. I ended up crying in my professor's office, and I don't know what he thought about that. As this regalia I'm wearing shows, I did eventually listen to my professor, and I went to graduate school. But even this good change was something that I wrestled with. Many changes are much harder. Sometimes we are careless and we hurt each other. Even when we work to care for each other, we make mistakes. We often see areas in ourselves or in our community that are hurtful or unhealthy. Do you have the courage to address this need to change in yourself and in others? My senior year, there were 10 of us who lived in doubles and singles around a common area. One night, I was talking about my roommate with some friends in the common area, and she overheard. I said some things that I thought were just friendly jokes about my roommate, but they were really hurtful to her. She confronted me in her pain, and I was shocked. I had to ask myself not just what my intentions were in what I said, but what the impact was on my roommate. I apologized. I listened to her perspective. I poured energy into our relationship. I slowly rebuilt trust with her, though it was a very uncomfortable couple of months in our room. The relationship was restored, but I learned to be much more careful about what I said about other people and how it would sound from their perspective. This is a change that I have tried to take with me, but it is a lesson I keep learning over and over. You are likely to make mistakes within the Juniata community, or to bear the brunt of other people's mistakes. One thing about community is that we are close enough to wound each other. I would encourage you first to question yourself, your assumptions, your understanding, to question others, to learn what it is like to walk in their shoes, to question why they did something, to listen to their perspective with an open mind. This all takes energy and effort. It takes courage. You might also need to challenge others. You need to stand up to protect others and to protect yourself, doing this in a way that you can be heard and that the growth and change that needs to happen can take root. Then you need to work to rebuild those relationships. Part of this process is giving each other grace, recognizing that you also make mistakes, and you need to extend favor to others even though they don't deserve it. Giving grace and forgiveness to others and to ourselves is central to being able to move forward and continue to grow and change. This courage is particularly important as our society is coming to grips with our history of racial and social injustice. We recognize that the U.S. has not protected all its citizens equally. We have not granted the same humanity to all our citizens. Like all organizations and institutions in this culture, the Juniata community needs to address this injustice. We need to question our own perspectives and assumptions and educate ourselves so we can be allies. We need to stand up with our brothers and sisters of color and promote their well-being within the community, both as individuals and as a group. As we change and grow, every individual and group within our community is strengthened. So as we begin this new semester, I would challenge you to be courageous. Have the courage to connect with new friends, especially people who are different from you. Have the courage to care, to take time to ask how others are doing, and to listen. Have the courage to change, even when it requires discomfort and confrontation. Together, we can build a community full of interesting, inquisitive, hardworking, and fun individuals. A community where our individual stories influence and are influenced by our larger collective story. Take courage to be a community, Juniata.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce the President of Student Government, who will welcome our new students. Tramour Wilson is a transfer student to Juniata and hails from Hilo, Hawaii, although he was raised in Baltimore City, Maryland, and he traces his origins to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Tramour studies social work and pre-law with an eye toward contributing to social change in systems of incarceration and child welfare. His interests and engagement at Juniata are broad. In addition to leading Student Senate this year, Tramour is an RA and involved with the Juniata Activities Board. He is a two-sport athlete playing baseball and football. Tramour spends downtime on campus working out, engaging in the community, and hanging out with friends. He is a champion ping pong player. He has a passion for art and expression. He also has a talent for language, speaking French, English, and Swahili. As a leader on campus, Tramour seeks input from peers, and he presses for changes that improve the climate and experience for Juniata students today and in the future. He embodies the kind of hope that you just heard President Troha discuss with you. As such, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the 2020-2021 President of Student Government, Tramour Wilson.
Hello. I want you all to remember 4 statements. I can, I will, I must, and I'm here. Faculty, new student, and parents. First, I want to start by welcoming you to our family. I know that might sound a little cheesy, but I'm truly happy you're here. Being a part of Juniata is like being a part of a mystery box. You might put your hand in, but you never know what you're going to pull out. I will not start by telling you what Juniata should mean to you. I will simply tell you what it means to me. Coming from a broken family, I never knew what love, consistency, and compassion looked like in life. I never knew that you could hug someone you never met. I never knew you could sit at a table and pass kisses around to complete strangers, which I don't suggest. I never knew you could storm into the Dean of Students office and play with a dog at your request. I never knew you would get to know the dining hall staff as they were your family, and don't forget to spec the friend requests. I never knew if your professors repeatedly kicked you in class that meant you were one of their favorite students. I never knew tenting sucks, but magical rocks. I never knew that if someone tells you Mountain Day is tomorrow, to never believe them. All in all, Juniata is a place where students realize I can be anything I want. Whether that's being a doctor, a lawyer, a peace advocate, or even a professional journalist. As time developed, the I cans slowly transform into I will. I will make the dean list. I will be an All-American athlete. I will be the best me I can be. By a student's junior and senior year, we finally begin to connect the dots, where all the desires, the expectations, the ambitions become a must. By the time we develop a must, we have already allowed previous years to swivel through our fingers. Then we remember the realization that had been with us throughout our 4 years. The realization that I am here now. With that being said, I encourage our new students to take risks, take chances, step outside of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid of failing. Don't be afraid to think outside of the box. Grow. Go big. As Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found in playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you're capable of living. Education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change this world. So, on behalf of Juniata College, as your Student Government Executive Board President, go connect your own dots. Farewell.
As we conclude this year's convocation, I want to pause for just a moment and recognize and thank our speakers this evening for their inspiring words, for their challenge, and for their welcome. As you look to begin classes tomorrow and you begin something new and different and especially unusual in this year, I also hope that you feel welcome as part of this community and that there's a sense of what's familiar in terms of our commitment to your success and our commitment to your learning. And part of what I think creates community and helps things feel familiar, at Juniata especially, is our belief in tradition. And one of our traditions is singing our anthem, our alma mater, at occasions such as these. And so in closing, I invite you to listen to Samantha Hong, the class of 2021, sing the Juniata alma mater.
To Juniata